we are cheating a little bit. I did give them the questions ahead of time. So this examination is open book. Why don't we start with the quick introductions? Like, I know everybody knows your names, but, one of the, somebody had asked a question about interviewing, right? So one of the things that I'd like to throw off people with is something that's unique about you and that represents your personality, right? Normally people say, it's like, what's the animal that represents you, right? I don't kind of limit it to animal, but I, focus something that represents your personality, right? And how long have you been in the ecosystem of WFM practice or customer experience environment? SRK?
Okay, this is SRK. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Mohit, co-founder of Data Native. Been with workforce management for, I think, 23 years now. Been with call centers for 24. I think someone mentioned their journey of how, who was it? I think, were you or someone mentioned, right? Huh? Yeah, you mentioned that you went into that role because you saw someone directing everyone. I think that was me. That's how I got into an RTA kind of a role and stayed there forever within WFM, still learning. And you wanted me to...
Something that represents your personality.
I think I'm calm. I usually don't get angry. It takes a lot of effort. So if I'm really angry, that means something bad has really happened. But I would say usually I come out as a calm person.
Calm, okay. Sunil?
Yeah. So I'm Sunil Karkera. Been in workforce management for the last 23, 24 years now. I recently joined Tech Mahindra a year ago. Started from RTA as Mohit also suggested that he did. And I, went up the ladder and now I'm heading a function here. In terms of personalities, right, tough question, but some of my guys tend to call me professor. Perhaps because my AST is I is what they say, during most of our meetings. So yeah, that's pretty much.
My guess would be you are a professor because you teach better.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Veena. I've been in the WFM for almost 20 years now. I started off as an EA, as an executive assistant to one of the teams in Accenture. And then I moved on to PMO and then to resource management. The minute I went into resource management, I knew that is what I wanted to do, probably for the next couple of decades. So, and that's what I've been doing, and currently in Fractal and heading the global staffing for Fractal. What represents me, I would probably say from my personality, one is I'm definitely positive. I've seen a lot of changes and changes even in my own career. And anything that comes to me, the first thing I would say is yes, we can do this. Then figure out how to do it. So I think that's probably me.
Not a lot of people have that.
Hi, I'm Radhika Narangmalya. I've been in the staffing or the resource management world for over 20 years with a total of 24 years of experience now. Been an EA once upon a time, but started my journey with events. I was into hardcore events, Viscraft, corporate events, Microsoft,
Wow.
etc. And then I used to sit with, then I joined Sapient as an EA, and I used to sit with the resource management team, and I used to see they were so busy, what were they doing? And I was all free. And it just happened that one day somebody didn't come and they asked me if you can help with literally copy-paste of timesheet data. It started with that, and that was my calling as well. Very soon, in 10 years or so, I was heading the function at Reliance, and then KPMG, and then Deloitte. So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
So you saw the chaos and still joined.
Oh yeah.
So you are glutton for punishment, so that's good.
Yeah, and what represents my personality, well, I am an eternal optimist. It's always half glass full for me, always. It's never that this can't happen. It's never like that.
My name is Rajshekar. I'm in Wipro for last 28 years. I was the country head for Mexico in the last decade, and then I went to London. I was there, the delivery head for all the engineering services programs over there. And they called me to become a WMG head, what we call WMG in Wipro. And I told them that I could only play for 6 months, but somehow I started loving this domain, and then I've been this for almost a decade now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So curiosity is my personality, and I do a lot of reading, so I continue to grow my curiosity day in, day out.
That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Simran. I'm the most youngest of the entire lot here. Not at all touching to any, not even half, not even touching to any double digits also. So I am into resource. So I started my career as a data analyst, and it's been 6 years in Indigo as a resource planning, and after that it's been that's my cup of cake, and so I've been sticking to that, and I'm loving it. I'm very new to this because we are not very much into hardcore workforce management, but yes, resource planning is one of the key core domain of mine. What represents me, if I have to say that, I'm a typical Scorpio. I have all the traits of a Scorpio, so that can be my soul. As you said, that's a soul. In animal, Scorpio is not an animal, but yeah, the soul.
Yeah, I get what you mean, though.
Yeah, so that's it.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Well, experience-wise, we've got about 150, 175 years, so not bad, right? A lot of tenure, a lot of wisdom. Initially the plan was to kind of smoothly transition into this after, especially Mohit's introduction. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of start off with is, how do you see your role impacting your ecosystem? Right, where do you see some opportunities that you can kind of continue, that you are looking to continue to chase? Right, it's a ever-evolving ecosystem, right? Who wants to take it?
So one, we act as catalysts, right, to in whatever your business objectives are. Now, as an organization, most of the BPS, in fact all, our endeavor is to deliver exceptional value to the customer. And our role in essence is to ensure that our actions, the decisions that we take, the strategic plans that we make, those resonate and align with the company ethos, or the why of the company, as you called, or Jay. So clearly embracing change, driving that change across, with your team, so to say, encouraging them to kind of experiment things on the fly or on the go, or take some calculated risk. That's something that we all should do, and to me that's where we actually fit in. We, as I mentioned earlier, we essentially are the catalyst in making things happen. That's my take.
I think our role is pretty strategic. At the same time, it is something that makes it happen. I mean, you can write n number of strategies on the wall, but you need a team and people especially to drive it and execute it, and actually make it happen across. So I think that's exactly what we do day in, day out. And of course, we drive the top line, we drive the bottom line. But I think what also gives a great pleasure is to see it materializing via people's career, their choices, and end of the day when someone walks in and say, hey, thanks for your help, I really got a role today, what I'm doing and what I'm enjoying, I think that summarizes everything.
Well worth
so
it,
that's
right? Makes it all worth it.
Makes it all worth.
Yeah.
So, very recently, I rejoined Deloitte after a hiatus of about 10 years. I was in Deloitte earlier, then I went to KPMG and came back to Deloitte. What I've done now in this last 1 year, and I've literally just completed a year in Deloitte, is we've created a new, for want of better words, tool, but we've called it the spine. Okay, so it's less of staffing, more of people insights and experiences. And why did we call it spine? Because that is literally what we do. Literally, we are the backbone. We are literally at the center, controlling, not just controlling for that matter, coordinating, collaborating with every other team, function, be it business, be it support, be it revenue, be it sales, be it ops, be it anything and everything, hiring, exits, everything. And that is why we are in the center. And if we function well, everybody else automatically functions well. Because if our data has to be clean, their data has to be clean. There's no option. And I think that's what really defines us. We are the spine, very literally.
I would 100% agree, right? I think you show me an organization that has a crappy work planning practice.
Right.
I'll show you a very unsuccessful organization that
Right.
is primed for opportunity.
Absolutely.
So we define the top line and bottom line of an organization. And without saying, we build a career for many of the people, all the talent careers has been built by our team. There are two things which I would like to add to this is we not only a cost center in the companies anymore, and not only a strategic partner cost center, we are also driving the businesses. For example, many of the GCCs, we are going back and saying, hey, I want to take over the complete talent management of your company. So can I do this? So this is something which we are selling. So we are also seen as the sales part of the organization, not just one who is going to be doing only the talent management. And also then as a NASCOM member, I'm also a NASCOM member for the talent management. We are also defining how should be what kind of a talent we need to develop from Indian point of view for the next 2 years. So that's something which we are working towards. So these are all, I think, are the prime factors what we are contributing.
And are you looking more and more towards kind of a what is future forward, as I think it was somebody else's presentation yesterday, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what kind of talent is required in India for the next 2 years?
Awesome.
So talking about our role in our company, so we are resource planning, as most of the people have already covered the point that we are the driving force, we are the cost centers, we drive resource planning. But for us, the greatest pride is when our flight is on time and it is in the air. So the entire work which is done to get that aircraft in the air is like us, so that human resource, and we make sure that happens, and that happens on time. So that is the greatest pride for us, and it is our prime responsibility that whatever it takes to get things out there, it needs to be planned well in time, well executed, so that there is no pressure at the airports and people are working on their full potential, not under pressure, not that utilization, which accounts to the management cost center, management goals also. So we are the balance of something which we do at a back end and operations also. So we try to maintain that balance, seeing the company's revenue side, cost side, and also that our operations are well equipped and smoothly driven. So we are the balancers of the company.
One of the things that one of my team members had asked is that's probably, you guys are one of the core reasons why the stock is up 150%, right?
Yes, because we are growing immensely, and so yes, and one of the biggest airlines, so it takes a lot of pride for me to say that. So yes, we are growing.
For the work you guys do, for somebody that has traveled just north of about 2 million miles in my career so far, I'm very much appreciative for all the work that goes in the background.
Thank you so much. I think my leaders are also here, and big thanks to you. Them also.
And we can call them as backbone of talent mobility.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
For me, I think how we impact what goes around in the organization ties directly to the why, right? And for me, personally, I think this why has been an evolving why for the last few years, right? When I started off with Data Native, the why was to get a unique product out in the market. And that was a vision, right? And then we started building the team. How do you get others to join you in that same vision, right? And then eventually we got the product out in the market. Then to see, is the market reacting to that why? Are they aligning to it? Are they seeing the value in that why? And when they started seeing the value, encouraging us to continue the journey, now the why has become to take it to the next level, how to make sure that the confidence we are getting from our clients and the community, WFM community, how do we live up to that expectation? So that is kind of an ever-evolving why for us, and that's what we try to drive within the organization day in, day out.
Nice, thank you. And so I think you're providing a good lead off into what is your why, right? And when I say what is your why is implying not just for you individually, what drives you, right? I think, as all of you guys have shared that you guys have all grown up, and somebody a little bit younger than the others. But, as you guys have grown up through the ranks, everybody's kind of gone through the grind, right? For uniqueness, I have never been in any of the frontline WFM roles. I started as a WFM manager, which is an interesting story. But what is your why is what I'm kind of curious about. Who wants to start?
I can start. I think during my career, the why had different meanings at different stages of my career, right? At some point it was money to start off with. Then the why became, can I be a people's manager? Can I lead a team? Can I bring excellence by leading that team? Eventually, can I lead a global team? Right? Can I transform the way we do this work? Right? And can I drive the entire team to be a part of that journey and truly show the value of what workforce management can bring to the table? So, over a period of time, it has shifted. Eventually, and when I look back at my journey, somewhere along the way, as I was leading workforce management teams, but at the same time I was also leading various digital transformation projects, I realized that that is something I thoroughly enjoy, right? Working with technology, creating something new, creating something unique. And at some point in time, I knew that this is what I want to do for the rest of my career. Now, what will I build? At that point in time, I did not know. But I knew that I want to build something unique. I knew I have to do something about it. And that's probably is when me, along with one of our other co-founders, when we were over a couple of years, when we were talking about what do we want to do next, I didn't even have to think about it. And it just came to me that, this is what we want to do. Even though we did not have a specific product in our mind, we had one thought that we are going to build something very, very unique that no one has attempted yet, and we are going to go with that. And that kind of drove us and brought us where we are today. Yeah.
For all the people that they're not big into alcohol, it's created a lot of good companies.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think, like Mohit suggested, the whys keep changing, during the course of your career. So when I started, obviously my immediate why was to how do I kind of move up from the level that I am today to the next one, right? So as most of the WFM professionals here, we would have started from the RTA role. So immediate why was, how do I get into planning? How do I get into scheduling, right? Those are supposedly a bit complex than what you do in RTA. So that was my initial why in the initial days of my career. But as I moved along and I got to lead teams, global role, etc., obviously the why shifted. The new why was, what is it and how is it that I can contribute to the WFM fraternity? What can we do a little differently here? How do we bring in a bit of standardization in the things that we do within the organization for starters? And can we actually, take it out and share it with the world? So obviously, whys kept changing. Again, I think it is dynamic. During the course of your career, it will keep changing and you will have new whys all along. So now my new why is for the organization that I joined in, how do I kind of, bring in that integration with the integration of the WFM teams from across the globe that we operate out of. So yeah, that's pretty much for me. That's what I feel.
For me, the why, personally for me, the why has been this. Most of the roles that I initially performed in my career, I felt it's not adding great value. Or to be specific, I felt it was sort of a post-mortem or something, right? It was not impacting on a live basis. But when I looked into the resource management and started doing, I know if I'm fulfilling one role, there's a revenue that we are adding. So it is like directly contributing. And I could easily sense how important this role, this function, and whatever we do on the ground is so important. So that's something that really became my why. Though en route I got so many other opportunities, like we all get to divert and do something else. I sort of stick to this because I knew how strategically important this is. It also touches, as I earlier said, not only to the financials of an organization, but also around people. So it's like I enjoy talking to people, I enjoy interacting with people. So that sort of became my why, and till date I think that's been my why. Of course, like others said, it keeps changing as you grow. I mean, you are this today, tomorrow you want to do this. Now, how do we bring AI to our WFM, and all of that keeps happening. But this remains still the same for me, at least.
So I think we've all spoken about personal whys, and I'm sure each one has a story. But I think a lot of it is driven by what our organization's why is. And if I'm not aligned to that, then we're all haywire. For me, it was always the idea of sitting in a neutral chair and being the balance and doing the right thing, quote unquote. So this was the place, or this was the position I had the opportunity to do the right thing for the business, for ourselves, for the team, to help find, and I'm not in the contact center world at all. I've never done that. For me, it was, the big fours have been professional services, from consulting to technology to audit to tax to government to forensics, everything. So the professional services world is very, very different. And I knew the empowerment I was being given, and I knew I had to do the right thing, period. Integrity was by far the most non-compromised thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the why that drives you.
There are many, many days that probably all of us have had that we would rather not be in the contact center industry.
No, I don't know about that, but there have been many days for me where I've felt that I'm on the crossroads, and can I maybe do this and do that?
Try it out, right? Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very hard balance to find.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So my why was driven by the technology in the beginning of my career. When I was a delivery head in UK, the first World 3G call was done by us, right?
Wow, okay.
The Prince came and cut the call, and then we were able to do that. That's kind of a passion what we used to work in, kind of a technology is what we used to work in the past. But then when I went to Mexico, my outlook really changed. When we were one of the first IT companies who went to Mexico and set up the IT infra there, right? Then we said, if we can do there, India is already well advanced in this, so why don't we go back and improve here? So that's what that's the reason why I came over here in the WMG and then working on this. But right now, my why is integrating the academia to the business, so that they are well integrated with us, and we are trying to bring a lot of university contents into the way the business needs it, and that's what is our current why.
And that kind of, again, gives you the points of integration with the university ecosystem as it's evolving and going back to, not necessarily somebody that is doing their master's, but somebody even coming out of high schools or something like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So it all starts with almost, in some of the groups we have been involved at 10+2, in some of them at 10+3. So we have various programs within our company which we are trying to do it. Some of them are done with Wipro, and some of them outside Wipro through NASCOMs.
Wow, very nice. And I know the education system in India is evolving from how it's been for decades, right? So that's great. Good to be a catalyst in it.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a common saying in Indigo that there's no why. So there's in Indigo, it is I in Indigo. So, yeah, what am I in the Indigo? But yes, I do agree to the other panelists that why keep on changing with the career growth or with the career path you have initially and then as you grow. But for me, the why will always be aligned to the company's why, which is the organizational why, and which is our core values. That is always being safe, consistently passionate. We have service from the heart, and humility with pride, and obviously the power of we. These are the values which Indigo portrays in each of their actions. So automatically, each one of us contribution and why automatically gets aligned to the company's why at the end. So we all work for that same purpose, be it any time, at any point of career, and eventually the end goal remains those values. So we just align ourselves wherever the companies go, and that becomes our why. So be it it requires automation, may it require an AI, may it require a change, or whatever it requires to get that there. We just inculcate, and that becomes our why. So
nice.
It keeps on changing, and change is the only constant.
That's true. And I think, one common theme that I see is, and, a lot of you guys have probably gone through a similar journey, is somewhere in your career path, you transition from me to we.
Yes.
Right? And that transition from me to we, something had to trigger that, right? And I think, yes, initially, as everybody's chasing the money, right? Nobody wants to keep working for $2 an hour, right? So, once you get to a certain level of stability, then that transition point kind of comes through that allows you to kind of say, you know what, I can do something better for my team.
So, the all individual collaborative becomes the power of we, and that's what we portray in our every gesture and in our every work. So
nice. That's
the power of we.
I like it. As somebody, I think, who was it yesterday that said that, people that change jobs every 3-4 years, you had said that yesterday, right? Or somebody in the audience said that, right? Is not consistent. So, I'm probably one of those people that I have always changed jobs every 3-4 years. Not to kind of me looking, but it just, things are aligning in the right way. So my why is always who I represent as my team, right? So I think culturally, what I try and encase as part of my transformation journey, and organization in most cases is a byproduct of it as a beneficiary. I think in culturally speaking, I always try and join the organization with the intent to retire from it. Because my dad and my grandpa only had one job their whole life, right? So in my mind, I'm always thinking that this is my last company, but it keeps changing. So my why for me is more rooted into what I'm able to do for my teams. And I too had that inflection point where I went from me to we, and that made a difference. So a little bit more personal question of adversity, right? And so as we all have talked about our whys, what has been some of the challenging situations that you may have gone through organizationally, maybe impacting for you or the organization, not necessarily current one or past experience, that allowed you to navigate through that using your why or whatever that why was at the time?
Okay, I can take this. It's just an uncanny coincidence that the last 4 organizations I joined, and I've also coincidentally happened to jump every 4 years, but since 2010 I've been stable. It just so happened that every of those last 4 organizations that I joined, I was actually starting something fresh on the floor. It didn't exist. So change management and transformation was like the first word, it was the first step. And it was really, really hard because every time you came in, people were already set in their own ways of doing things. And they were like, who the hell are you? Why are you walking in and telling us what to do? Right. And I have been told on my face, take your CV and go somewhere else. Wow. So there have been times like that. But then that's exactly what the challenge is. And that's exactly what you want to do more and add value and prove them the other way around, that, all right, fine, you don't want to do this now, don't do this now. We do it with somebody else, we come back to you, we show it to you, we see how we can change it for you, customize it for you. At the end of the day, client first. So business was client for me. Very, very difficult times where people have just not, like I've been told, you can do what you want, we will not do it, in these many words.
It's amazing to see how easily people become stagnated in their ecosystems, right?
So everybody's averse to change. It's very, very hard. And as luck would have it, every time I jumped, I only jumped to bring a change. And at a firm level, not like at a group level, so it was really, really hard because you're actually changing. And, in firms like ours, every function works differently. And within a function, you have people working differently within the function, right? So to get all of them together and to get them on the same page and to actually follow, first thing I realized, one size fits all never works. Never works. It just doesn't. You have to keep evolving and changing within the firm multiple times. So our philosophy changed from control to adoption. That was our biggest shift, that it's okay. You want to do it this way, we do it this way. As long as our larger purpose and a vision is still there, we're fine. It doesn't matter how you reach there, you reach there.
That's got it. So I will go next. I think what we can call as adversity and why, or maybe disruption, if I were to call it. Maybe when an organization go for reorgs, right? Wipro goes into multiple reorgs, and a kind of an anxiety it would going to create within the team and within the company. And also, if you look at when we acquire companies, right? So we have done multiple acquisitions, and when the smaller companies can get integrated with us, the kind of an anxiety what they're going to have, whether they're going to have jobs, what is going to happen to their talent, what is going to happen to their roles. This is something which is very critical when we feel to become successful during those integration. That's exactly where we pitch in and we tell them why is this important? How is that integrating with Wipro? We're going to bring in a bigger value to their own self and the organization in which they were working, and we integrate it smoothly. This is something which we are very proud of how we have been doing during the reorgs and acquisitions.
Okay, so I will talk about the challenge which I faced. One of the instances where we were doing something in a very traditional manner, and there was a need to change, and that was a challenge for us. And accepting that challenge, and that was the actual why of us at that particular point of time, because we are leaping, we were growing, so it was important for us to change our traditional ways into a very automated and more optimized and AI driven and all those technology which is there in the market to be there out there. To manage our workforce optimally, and so the entire challenge, we use this why to have a change in the mindset of the people. That was our biggest challenge, and that why only helped us because when the values are clear, so you automatically try to embrace that challenge and do cultural shifts which is required to obtain that goal. So yes, there I believe, because since when your goal is clear, you drive everything to make that challenge work. So that was a particular point in time. We had a huge shift, and we are currently successful in launching Inform. So we have been moved away from our traditional ways of method to a more automated way where everything is optimized. So this was our journey, and which the why obviously helped us in getting through our journey. Yeah. So that was our challenge.
One thing I could relate in the challenges, especially in the current organization, Fractal, is this. We are a people over process company. Anything we do is people centricity, come what may. So you define any process, you define any policy, guideline, it has to be a people-centric one. So while it all looks great when you listen to this and hear about this, actually to execute it, to implement and drive the change management is very tough. Right. For example, we have unlimited leave policy, and wow. Yes, it is. We have unlimited leave policy. I want to work for you. Yes, anytime. Most welcome. When you apply leave, in fact, even to get people apply leave is a big thing. The first thing my team tells everyone when they ask, they want to go on leave is please do apply on Workday first thing. and it gives you a message saying you don't need any approval, your leave is approved. Okay, and this is automated.
Wow.
So, yeah. So this is really good from an employee standpoint.
Does it still require you to fight to have employees actually take the leaves?
Not it, but yeah. But of course, there are employees who really don't take their share of leaves. That's
Right.
also true. The reason behind this, as per Shrikant, who's our founder, says that we're all adults, we're all very passionate about what we do. So why will we simply take leave and, just sit at home? And you rather be working or, doing something or invent something. So we are very passionate and very people-centric, but that drives also many challenges when we want to, do a lot of other process things, your cost efficiency and many other things. So it is really challenging. So for us, any policy that we drive in, to drive that and actually implement and execute it and show the results out of it, I think that's the bigger challenge. But how do we sail through all this is because I think we are very clear about our why. In fact, when I saw this topic, when Shiva told me, in one of our people principles, we have 7 people principles, and one of the people principles is that no matter what, if our content is respectable and we know, what's our why, and we are clear about it, then we should just go ahead and do it. So our why is sort of our people principle, and though it is a challenge, I think we are able to sail through, at least Fractal is able to sail through because of its people centricity.
Because your why makes you
Makes us-
clarity. Why
Yeah.
gives you clarity to know what to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are very clear. Even while, drawing any basic process, we are very clear about our why, and we know what will probably align with our principles, and, only then we sort of roll it out. So we are very clear, though even though there are some hiccups and challenges, we do manage that because we are very clear on what we want to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So one of our mission statement is scale at speed. So what that means is a lot of disruptions that we do in the way we run things, right? And this disruptions, obviously for good reasons, they come with a lot of challenges for us. For us, those are the point of adversities when we have to actually adapt to new ways of doing things. And conveying that to the last person on the block is not an easy task. Change management again, right? So again, you go show them the end. How does the end look like? What is in it there? Communicating that, expressing that, and then suggesting that this can be done. It's not difficult. We will pass through this. So this is an ongoing thing for us, right? So that's something that happens very frequently in our organization, and agility is something that we are. It is part. It is ingrained in the in people's mind now. But especially when we deal with junior resources or the new resources who join us, that gets a bit challenging for us. So that's pretty much what I add on this.
I'll probably share something from my previous experiences, right? I think change management, we all agree it's very, very difficult. It becomes even more difficult when it's a part of a merger or an acquisition, right? And the group that is getting acquired usually are the ones on the receiving end. I've gone through this twice in my career. Once when I was part of the group that was acquired by another company. So I lived through it. And the second time when I was part of the group that was acquiring a company, and I was required to lead the WFM teams on both sides. And one common theme or one thing that I learned from this is just have an open and honest conversation. Don't bullshit. People read through it easily, right? I read through it when I was on the receiving end, and I made sure that when I'm on this side, I don't repeat the same mistake.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Very good. And I think a lot of us go through, and especially when you're in your roles impacting change, right? At the initiating stages of it, right? A lot of people want to change, but when you start to change, a lot of people are not there, right? So it's very, very interesting. Hey, Mohit, my team did something for you.
Come on. What is it now?
I think this is supposed to be
Amir Khan.
Khan.
Okay, this is better. I like
So,
it now.
Here's what I will kind of leave, first of all, thank you guys. This is very valuable. Hopefully, you guys found it to be valuable as well. I appreciate all of you guys. One of the things that to all of us have experienced throughout our life, in our organizations, we see the change, we see the impact, and it is impacting all facets of our organizations, right, in some form, one way or another, right? And as you guys kind of look through it, as you guys impact it, right, if you don't have this kind of ecosystem where you are evolved and involved into your organization, make sure you are, right? Get a voice up there, get to right players, right? Always know who is your who, right? Which kind of allows you to get a seat at the table to drive a lot of these enabling changes, right? Because a lot of times, out of complacency, a lot of times out of stagnation, right? You'll find yourselves running through some of these challenges, and not knowing where you are, what you can do. Always make sure you have a conversation and ask questions, right? One of the biggest challenges, that culturally that I've seen, and I've had to learn and grow up into as well, in countries like India and Philippines, right? We are very, very respectful cultural organizations that are always kind of like, just because my boss said it, right? It's kind of God's word, right? I need to kind of get it done. I don't care how, right? But having your personal why will allow you to balance, and I appreciate that, and hopefully most of you, if not all of you guys, are in organizations where you have that parity and synergy with your organizational whys, right? And it allows you to go a longer distance. One of my favorite slides is this. I'll leave you guys with that. It says, do epic shit. So go out and be a force of awesome. You guys are all in WFM practice, enabling practice that impact your organization. So go and be awesome. All right, thank you guys.
There's a book called Do Epic Shit.